Hello, fairy finders and fairy seekers. Today we are going to visit Effigy Mounds in Harper's Ferry, Iowa. And I'm going to share with you two photographs that I took back in 2016. And one of them was a huge surprise just last year, which would be 2019. So let's get started here. First picture here is a gorgeous one of a small area of Effigy Mounds. It's a huge place. But this is what started me on my journey of taking photographs of fairies. I went through the photograph, no particular reason, just looking through my photographs on my camera that I had taken that day in June of 2016 and came across this little guy here. Now, of course, he doesn't look very big. I wasn't even looking for little people. So to find something like that was pretty incredible. And so I enlarged the picture and it's like, oh my goodness, that's a little person. So I decided to see what else I could find in the photograph. And I did find other photos, other beings, I should say, in this same photograph. Here he is. I've marked them. You won't be able to see them probably very well, just because of being on the computer. But here was one, here was one, here was a very interesting troll baby. And then, of course, we have the one I call the guard. And this one leaning up against the tree. And over here, this one was partially there, partially not. So the lower part of the body wasn't really formed, but you could see this, and then a girl peeking out from behind a tree. And I believe that was it for this particular photograph. But this little guy, he was my first find for the fairies. And I'll show you a little bit larger picture of him and a labeled picture. So you can always pause the video and take a look at this. So I continued looking through the photographs and I have marked these. Right there's the little leprechaun. Here's the leprechaun type, very pointed nose and feet in the tree. Another troll-like fairy right here. Here is a full-bodied one. Here is the very large girl with the feet, and it is amazing what they can form themselves into. And then we had a little girl down here. And of course, because I had found the guard here, and he's not very big, nor were the rest of them that I found in this photograph. And remember, if I were to go through this photograph again, I would probably find more, since my eyes are now much more developed than they were back in 2016. Anyway, I was looking for this. So when I looked at the photo here, and I haven't shown you the whole photo. When I looked at this one, I began, as I always do, across the bottom and working my way up the photograph. And I did not see this. I did not see this until I went back to look at something in this particular photo back in 2019, and I went, holy crap, where did he come from? We have what I guess I would call a dwarf species. Could be wrong on that, but here he is. I was standing like right here. That's where the path was, because I never stray off the path. And I could have tripped over him. I could have bent down and said hello. So here he is. I gave you a picture here without labels and one with labels. Now I kind of debated on the arm and the hand, but since the rest of him is so clear with the top of his head, he might be wearing a hat, maybe not. The brows are quite thick. He's got very dark, squinty eyes. The mustache, you can actually see the shape of it better on this side, but it's lighter than the rest. It's kind of the brow color. The beard, one ear that we can see. And this arm and hand obviously goes to him. This one does not. Okay? But it was almost as though he was modeling his arm after this so that I wouldn't see him. And it was effective. I did not see this little dwarf until last year. So I had the picture for 3 years before I found one of the most phenomenal pictures I've ever taken. So anyway, I had to share this with you. So don't just go to your picture and start looking for really tiny fairies, thinking that that's all you're going to find. Every once in a while, you can get a surprise like this. So this was pretty darn exciting, and I really wanted to share it with you. So that's it for this video. Thank you so much for joining in, and I will talk to you again later. Take care.